video, I completely forgot that the Fairy Mid-readathon started today. But it is like 10:40, so I have plenty of time to do the first section. My book is like tabbed, but you can't really see because I used a blue that matched this spray, which, by the way, can I say how pretty this book is? I really like the red, but obviously we're not going to be seeing much of this because I always take dust jackets off of hardbacks when I read them. So this is just the pre-anything section, and yeah, I am really interested to get into this because I've heard like good things, though to be fair I've not heard much, but it was on like my to buy list for a little while, and my April fairy loot got here yesterday, but I won't show you any of that because I don't want to give too many spoilers. However, the book is so pretty. It's so pretty. So, readathon today, it's chapters 1 to 6. So my tab goes to chapter 7 where I'll stop. And I am planning on writing and tabbing in this because I don't really see myself getting rid of it anytime soon. So I might as well make it my own. Yeah, I don't really have any expectations going into this. I haven't read a fantasy in a while. I say as if I'm not trying to read some, I just haven't been able to commit to one in a while, so I'm really hoping that the readathon will keep me on track. That's the hope. Though I'm not going to read too much now because I'm just doing a bit of like planning stuff for personal projects, and then I have a meeting to go to for my career. But afterwards I'm going to do some cleaning because we have a flat inspection tomorrow, and then I will sit down and I will actually start this. So I probably won't get to it till tonight, so you probably won't hear from me for like another day or two. However, I will like do stops every day to kind of talk about sections and like give my thoughts on how things are going. So that's the plan. Hopefully you all enjoy this, and maybe you participated in the readathon as well, in which case talk to me about it. And yeah, let's get into it. It's like 7 a.m. And I woke up like an hour ago, so I'm doing this now while I remember. So it's day 3 of the Fairy Loot read along, so we're about 126 pages in because we're on chapter 14, and I think we're going up to chapter 21 today, so I'll probably read that in a bit. I've mostly been reading these like at night, right before I go to bed, which has been really good. But yeah, I wanted to talk about this. I'm really enjoying it so far. I think it's sitting nicely at like a 4 stars at the moment. So unless like, you know, some of my expectations aren't met. It should stay that way. Currently it's like very loosely tabbed. I've been relatively like free with like my tabbing and stuff because I've mostly just been annotating and scribbling in this. As we've seen, I keep drawing red strings everywhere because that's like a theme in this book, the red string of fate. So I've just, you know, been having a ball with my colored pen and just drawing them absolutely everywhere. But you know, I also drew a crane because I felt like it, and maybe I'll draw a paper boat somewhere because I know that they have like significance. But yeah, so plot wise, a lot has happened in relatively like short amount of time. We've still got like this much left, but it's like a shorter book than I thought, and I can't remember if it's a standalone or not. I think it is, because it's not like listed as like a duology or anything, so I'm gonna hope that it's a standalone anyway. It's pretty fast paced, like everything kind of happens, you know, like more things happen faster than I expected. So which isn't like necessarily a bad thing because it definitely like subverted some of my expectations on what the plot was going to be. But I have some theories that might have some grounding, and if I'm right, I'm the greatest storyteller ever. So Mina, who is our main girl, is pretty cool. She's like a nice mix of very like emotional but also very strong-willed, and I like that. I like seeing emotional people as like main characters. They kind of feel a lot more real in that front. Shin, who is, I assume, our love interest, is also pretty cool. Man don't have a soul, which kind of sucks for him, but I have theories about where it might be. Yeah, he's like kind of your general like grumpy sort of main guy, you know, but he's also like, he's like grumpy on the outside, but he's like kind for the most part. He's just defensive and protective, and like it's pretty cool of him, you know, but pretty standard for at least a lot of what current male love interests seem to be, which is like the very stoic but soft-hearted kind of people, you know. So it's cool though. Also, major Spirited Away vibes, like major Spirited Away vibes, like even just like the sort of feeling of the world beneath the sea is like just very Ghibli. I don't know how to like describe it any other way, but that's just like, it makes me want to watch Spirited Away again, and I haven't watched that movie in a while, so when I'm done I might. Yeah, the world just very, very kind of like Ghibli-esque, and I know obviously Ghibli takes like inspiration from like stories and mythology, so that's probably why, but still it gives it a really nice vibe. There's Namgi. Going back to the characters, there's Namgi, who is my favorite. Protect that man at all costs. Like, he's so nice, and he's just trying to be helpful. Like, he's a cool little snake boy, and I love him, and I will protect him with my life. And then there's like Kirin, who I guess apparently is like the last of his people, which sucks for him. And you know, he seems pretty like withdrawn, which is understandable. I would be too. So hope he's okay. He seems nice, if a little, you know, put off by the whole situation. And there's been a few appearances from other people. There's like Mask and Dai. I have suspicions on who Mask is. At least in some way related to Mina, I feel like, either her mother or her grandmother's grandmother. but that's just a theory. It's been really fun, you know. I think I needed a bit of a fast-paced read that's like relatively short, all things considered, and like reading it with other people is also really nice. And I'm definitely getting through it faster than I thought I would, because like last night I had a really bad migraine and I like just kind of wanted to go to sleep, but I was like, oh, I have to get through my page count, and it went a lot faster than I thought it would. Like, because normally when I'm kind of in that mood, I tend to like read a chapter of something and then I'm like, okay, cool, I read, I'm gonna go to bed now. But like I actually managed to kind of push through to the page count of the day, which I'm really proud of myself for, because I do just kind of have trouble in terms of like sticking to reading, which is also kind of why I started this channel, so that I could read more. I have ideas about where the plot might go, but I'm not putting too much expectations anywhere, because with the whole magpie soul thing, I thought that was going to last longer than it did, and we'll find out if that's a good thing or not. I think the only thing I would say is that a lot of Mina's pre-Beneath the Sea relationships are very underdeveloped, and I'm not sure if they're going to get more development or if we're just going to have those very vague connections, because like to be fair, even from like the little bit that we saw of her brother June, I love the guy and I hope he's happy with the woman he loves, but for the most part we get little tricklings. We definitely have the most from like her brother and everything, but obviously we don't directly see her interact with him now. We just get a lot of her relationship from like memories of him, but kind of we keep running into other people from her village that like died and became spirits. Like there's Nari, and like we get little pieces, but overall their relationship is relatively underdeveloped, so I'm interested to see if like they get a bit more. And then there's loads of mentions of the other sea gods' wives, and I'm really interested if we're going to meet more of them. Either way, Shin and Mina are like saying they're gonna get married, so now Mina is like living in the Lotus house and vibing. She still keeps trying to go see the sea god, and I don't know how that's gonna work out for her. I have suspicions, and if I'm right, I'm gonna be very proud of myself. You know, either I'm gonna look like an idiot or I'm the greatest storyteller ever, so yeah, we'll probably get through the next couple of days and then I'll talk to you again, because by that point I will be done. So yeah, we're gonna read, well, there's 3 more sections, so probably the next time I speak to you I will be like on the last day and the last section, and then I will speak to you again right at the end to give kind of my final review thoughts, relatively speaking. So yeah. Talk to you soon. I'm on the last 100 pages and I have found my favourite quote in this book, so I'm going to read it to you because I, I'm emotional a little bit, but basically we're kind of in the last sort of run up to stuff happening. A lot of people have showed up, and I just hope that everything can be resolved nicely and I'm not going to be sad at the end of this book. But this quote was just, Mina's a little bit upset, however. And there is no hope, because love can't be bought or earned or even prayed for. It must be freely given, and I have given my heart to someone, but he is not the sea god. I think just with the emotions of everything else happening in that scene, I just like cry a little tear. Also, my first annotation pen ran out. You did good, little pen. We're on to another one now, which is also almost empty because I've been using it for journaling, but that's beside the point. Anyway, we're going to pretend that I'm not viscerally upset by... Well, not upset, just emotional about that line. Well, those lines. And I will talk to you when I have finished this book or something else comes up. Thanks. Hi, you're in a chair in my living room because it's really bright outside and I needed the shade or else I look really, really red. But it's a wheelie chair, so if you move, I'm so sorry. But I finished this. It took me way longer than planned because I was gonna read along with the fairy loot thing, but then I took a couple days break and then it just took a turn and it took me like 3 weeks to read it. However, this book has my heart and soul, basically. I think I might have mentioned it early on that I was thinking of rating it like 4-ish stars. But I'm gonna rate it 5 because emotionally I was invested. The second half of the book really, honestly, did something to me. I was reading a good chunk last night, absolutely sobbed, and the only reason I didn't cry while reading the ending is because I'm sat with my massive window open and I was like, I can't have strangers watching me sob over a book, all right? So yeah, something about this, I don't know if it was the writing, if it was the connection to the characters, something about it, I was just emotional. And like, I feel like having an emotional response that I don't normally have like major emotional responses to things, like in life or in books or anything. So the fact that this managed to get something out of me, oh my god. And like a lot of the kind of criticisms that I had early on, like that I might not have mentioned, really like kind of solved themselves the further like I went through. And I am in love with this book. Yaxie, oh how? So yeah, this is a 5-star for me. It's the first 5-star of the year and that I've rated in a while, because to be fair, I haven't read in a while. So I think the last 5-star I gave was Song of Achilles, and that was also because I had an emotional response to that book, despite some criticisms I could have given it. But like, I don't normally give 5 stars because I'm picky, basically. And like, I don't know, I just feel like 5-star books have to be my absolute favorites, and you know, if it's well written but it's not an emotional favorite, then it's not going to be a 5-star. But this, like, after the second half we get into some like really beautiful writing. Some of the prose in here is really, really good. And like, after all of the world building that we get in the first half, the second half just like really builds out the world and the characters, and it's so good. And honestly, I probably mentioned it before, Namgi's my favorite character. I love him, and I would protect him with my life, but Shin and Mina as main characters are really, really good, and I really, really love them. Honestly, all of the main and minorly main characters have really, really nice development. Like, Kirin and Namgi's relationship is really sweet, and as much as I hated the moon goddess at first, I liked her by the end. So like, really good job on that one. And yeah, honestly, there was a bit of a dip closer to the end where I was really worried that the ending was going to disappoint me, but it didn't, and I was like really, really happy about that. I think if the ending had been disappointing, I would have rated it a lot lower, but
it was a good ending and I liked it. So, you know, yeah. Yeah, I think that the relationship development was amazing, and like, you know, the emotions that I felt following them in kind of their romance, Shin and Mina, I mean, was really, really good. And I think my other favorite like duo was Namgi and Nari. Even though we didn't see them all that much, I just really liked the, like, even the slightest snippet of a dynamic that we got out of them. And yeah, honestly, it was just a really good read, I think. Like with most things, it was mostly just like starting to read sections was usually where it took me a little while, but then I would read like 5 or something chapters in one sitting, because it was just so, it got you hooked, you know. And it was like, oh, just, it was so good. But yeah, like I cried, I laughed, I had so many emotions, and like I really liked my tabbing scheme that was mostly like blues with a snippet of like pink and green in there with a bit of grey. I mostly just like tabbed with the colour that felt appropriate, but I have so many annotations in here. Like I underlined a lot even without tabbing it, and I just, you know, I love that for me. This book really kind of got something out of me with annotating. I just wanted to underline so much, and especially towards the end there were just so many good lines. And yeah, honestly, if you've not read this book, I really recommend it. If you like fantasy, and especially kind of the Spirited Away vibes in this, they're very, very strong, and I really quite like it for that. So yeah, this is a personal favorite, and I'm really, really glad that I read it, and I'm really glad that I got it in Fairy Loot, because this is a beautiful addition to have of something, of a book that I really, really enjoy, and just having it full of my annotations just makes it all that more special, I think, because I think I just connected to it so well by writing in it and writing a lot of my thoughts, because if I, like, whenever I go back to reread this, I'm going to be able to kind of see all of my initial thoughts and kind of remember a lot of the feelings that I had. The only other thing is I was right about Shin. Like, ugh, I was so right. And I was right about Mask. I'm the best storyteller. Yeah, I'm just, honestly, I've just read so much in terms of story structure that I'm like, I know where this is going, but still it still made the reveals just so good. Cause to be fair with Shin, it's like there were so many times where I kind of doubted my own theory, because I was like, but that doesn't make any sense. But then like it started to make sense, and I was like, I was right all along. I was right. Yeah, I just, I'm in love with this book. And I cannot wait to give such a nice picture for my Instagram, which you should follow. Please. I'm almost at 100 followers, which is really nice. And yeah. The next video that will be out will be a quarterly book wrap up. So all of the books that I read January to April, I will just wrap up. And this one will appear in the next quarterly wrap up that I do for May to August. So yeah. And then over this week and next week, I'm filming another reading vlog, just a general one, not a book focused one, just a normal one, because like I'm doing all of my last assignments and stuff, and I'm just kind of reading for fun. So those should be out next week and the week after. So as much as I said I probably wasn't going to post in May because of my assignments, I was like, I need the stress relief. So that is the plan. But if things kind of get delayed, forgive me, for my assignments are stressful, and I'm just doing lots of corroboration with lecturers and things like that, but it's whatever. Yeah. So 5 stars, highly recommend. Beautiful book. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe, do all that, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.